Hello, Cheeky.
Good grief. Hello, Cheeky.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, Cheeky.
Hello, Cheeky.
Hello, Cheeky.
Hello. Oh, hello.
What a funny way to make a living.
Here are the answers to last week's programme.
Yes.
No.
Once in a while.
When I can get it.
And certainly not. Be off or I'll call a policeman.
If you have those answers in the correct order, you're a flaming sight dafter than we are.
And now, here is Tim Brooke Taylor with a word on doors.
Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay particular attention. Here is a subtle joke.
I've ironed your underskirt, Mr. Zeri, and I've washed your underthings, Miss Bubbles, and now I'll go and prepare tea for you both.
That was an excerpt from Valley of the Dolls.
Oh, that was subtle. That was really subtle. One of the subtlest jokes I've ever heard. What does it mean?
Tim, if you would put down that 1938 copy of Health and Deficiency, you might learn a thing or two.
Such as?
Such as the French, Latin and English for left are gauche, sinister and Michael Foot.
Someone has scratched the entire contents of the Bible on a pinhead, and Nicholas Parsons isn't very pleased.
Is that all?
Yes?
In that case, I'm going back to my naughty magazine.
Don't, Tim. Have a meanwhile instead, lad.
Oh, thank you. Oh, the one with the marzipan's gone.
Ah.
Never mind, I'll have this meanwhile. Meanwhile, on the Trans-Siberian Railway at Vladivostok, where it's bloody freezing.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Enough of this idle chatter. Let's go to bed.
Okay.
That reminds me, I must get a couple of sleepers.
Where are you going?
Nowhere, I've just had my ears pierced.
You're a puff.
That's a lie, darling. Shall we dance?
Certainly.
Oh.
It was never like this on Jackanory. On behalf of Equity, our trade union, here is a message for all actors with small parts. No, I'll rephrase that. Character actors. That's it, character actors. Do not accept contracts from unregistered managements. Do not accept suites from old gentlemen in trains. And finally, do not attempt to climb Vanessa Redgrave without a safety net.
Good evening. I am a scarab or Egyptian dung beetle. I'd like to read you a poem that I've written.
Do many dung beetles write poems?
No, most of them are working on sex novels or biographies of Spyro Agnew.
Now, there's a name to conjure with.
Oh, I don't think so. I can't see Tommy Cooper coming out and saying, Spyro Agnew, just like that.
Let's have the poem, then.
So you shall. The dancing girls loved Ramesses. He had them all in fits. He'd tickle all their fancies and squirt water
Do
on
you
them.
mind?
No. I'm sorry. I know no better. It's all right for you English dung beetles with your public school education.
I'm not a dung beetle.
Sorry, I must get these glasses fixed. Oh, well, all the best. If you're ever in Cairo and want to be naughty with a mummy...
Get out.
Bookshelf, our review programme in which Whitmore Abdomen and Dorinda Spit discuss a couple of things that came out this week. No, I'll rephrase that. 2 new publications.
Hello. Well, the books Dorinda and I will be discussing today are... Don't do that, Dorinda, when I'm talking. It puts me off, dear. The books are Show Us Your Stocking Tops Baby by Barbara Cartland and The Dark Miasma of My Understanding by Jimmy Savile. In the children's section, we'll be discussing William and the Perverts. The Cartland book first. Dorinda?
Well, I found I couldn't put it down.
Interesting.
No, someone had put glue on the cover.
I found these sex scenes very explicit.
Yes, particularly the one where he ripped off her blouse,
Yes, revealing her naked body, and then hurled her onto the bed, and then I'm awfully sorry. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Your place or mine, Dorinda?
I think mine.
Oh, that's all right, dear.
Next week's bookshelf will feature St. John Gusset and Jim Elbow. We shouldn't have the same trouble with them. Oh, I don't know, though. This is BBC Radio's Something or Other, and the time is, knocking on a bit. The next programme is Itmar. No, it isn't. I never had one of those days. Oh, the wife's fault. She overdid it with the celery last night. I knew I had it somewhere. Gateshead, as I remember. Oh, never mind. Here it is. The next programme is in Welsh.
Rostiniag me fanwy Llachlamar and Grim Crew Ashore and Penrith. A spokesman for the government denied this. But you can't trust these politicians, can you? Oh, what a funny way to hand in my notice. And, with that, over to Jimmy Young inside a Spanish omelette.
Meanwhile, in a speakeasy next to the tonic wine.
Joe sent me.
Come in.
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 Hi!
Hi, Joe. Sorry you can't come in. The place is full of your crummy friends.
One of my grandparents was a Chicago gangster, you know.
Really?
Oh, yes. Muggsy Junkin. Real terror. Bootlegging, extortion, kidnappings, and at least 4 killings.
Good heavens.
Then when she was 18, she married and settled down.
My mother used to make table mats for Lucky Luciano.
You mean...
Yes, she made raffia for the mafia.
Barry.
You've got to laffia.
Barry,
I can get daffia.
Tim, confiscate his teeth.
He hasn't got them today. My wife's borrowed them to do the crimping round the steak and kidney pudding.
That reminds me, I was going to phone your wife and thank her for that lovely dinner last night.
Why didn't you?
It was awful.
How dare you? My wife is the finest cook in Chipping Sodbury.
But you live in Hampstead.
That explains the gravy on the cornflakes.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Hi, fans. Dennis, he must be in league with the Devil King here. On behalf of Andre Previn and the lads, give us a kiss, darling.
You're quite right, young Dennis. It is time for our song. This is for Alice and George Threadbare, who are celebrating their 21st. And that's only this week.
I'm sorry, my love, if I'm not at my best. I regret if perhaps I sound curt. But the laundry has starched the tail of my shirt. If I stand very still, the discomfort is less, and there's really no risk I'll be hurt. For the laundry has starched the tail of my shirt. I've looked forward to this evening for a very, very long time. But now I'm in serious danger of being cut off in my prime. A man cannot be all at ease with a girl, for there's no way a fella can flirt when the laundry has starched the tail of his shirt. And so, darling, now I'll take my last bow, 'cause the laundry has starched. Oh, that's better. Hello?
Hello, I'm a music lover.
Really?
Yes, I just got engaged to a recording of the Sid Lawrence Orchestra.
Do you want to complain?
No, it's just that I live underneath Alice and George Threadbare. You remember they were celebrating their 21st?
Oh, yes.
I wanted to ask them to keep the noise down a bit.
Certainly.
Hello, Cheeky's personal column, in which we broadcast personal ads that you have sent to us, you great bunch of perverts.
For sale, photo blow-up of Des O'Connor and set of darts.
Wanted cup final ticket in exchange for wife. If you haven't got a ticket, take her anyway.
For sale, flesh-eating tropical orchid. Quick sale essential, otherwise...
Forget it.
And now, with great pride, we present our special guest for this show. Will you welcome, please, the fabulous Dumboni?
No.
What do you mean, no?
I'm not the fabulous Dumboni.
Who are you then?
I am the unfabulous Dumboni.
What's the difference?
Oh, you see, the fabulous Dumboni, he does an act where he juggled 24 billiard balls, stick of rhubarb, Land Rover and a scrambled egg while playing selections from Bach on the saxophone, balanced on a 6-foot pole.
That's terrific. What do you do?
I throw a penny up in the air and I catch it. Look. Sometimes I catch it.
You mean that's it?
Pretty well. I did try yodeling Edelweiss at the same time, but I kept swallowing the penny.
Not very good, is it? I mean, compared with the other Dumboni.
It depends on your taste. If you want flashy ostentation, you book him. If you want quiet charm, you book me.
You rely a lot on charm.
Of course I do, you skinny little poof.
Well, Mr. Dumboni, it's not very good radio, but then again, very little of this program is. So, would you like to do it again for our listener?
Do you think, possibly, could I have a roll on the drums?
I'm afraid not.
How about a sandwich on the piano?
Get on with it.
Oh, very well. It's not one of my better days. Still, it is the glorious uncertainty that makes life the fascinating tapestry that it is, unfolding an exciting new chapter with each dawn.
Get off.
You're quite right.
Morning, sir.
Morning. Light ale, please.
Sorry, sir, they're a bit lively in the warm weather.
It's 2:45. There's no one in the place except you and me.
I think we should stop supporting Chelsea.
Prove the truth. Yes. 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 Yes, yes!
Tim, what are you doing?
Doing this Are You Frustrated quiz in this magazine.
But it's for women.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And now, good news for sports fans, especially those of you who like motorcycle scrambling.
Hello. Later today, Johnny and I will be showing you how to scramble a motorcycle.
That's silly.
If you think that's silly, I once knew a man who drove 25 miles on a 500cc egg.
What happened to him?
He was bound over. You're sorry you asked, aren't you?
Oh, yes, so true. Now, for a complete change of mood, it's Spot the Raspberry. Behind that screen are two famous celebrities and Clement Freud. One of them is going to blow a raspberry, and you have to guess which two didn't. Ready? Mrs. Peabody.
Genghis Khan and Sooty.
Right. Now for the star prize, can you guess who Clement Freud is?
No.
Right again. You have won a 3-week holiday for 2 in San Juan, or a 1-week holiday for 3 in San Tu. Or if you don't like flying, flaming well, swim. If you'd like to play Spot the Raspberry at the same time next week, do it yourself. We're going to an orgy in Basingstoke. Meanwhile, over to 2 pigeons flying above Oxford Street during the rush hour.
Oh, shall we? No, takes all the skill out of it. True.
And now here is a party political broadcast by Arthur Buttock.
Evening. If you elect me, I'll spend lots of money on myself and ruin the country. That's what all the other Burkes do. What's the difference? At least I don't play the organ and my wife didn't write poetry. Well, we've got a bit of time in hand, so here's a little song. I called the Connie in the cowshed. She was sitting on a little 3-legged stool. She said, oh, please don't tamper with me jersey. A cowshed is no place to play the fool.
That was a party political broadcast by Arthur Buttock. Catchy song, isn't it? I think I'll vote for him. I called it Connie in the cowshed. And now, looking ahead tonight on BBC One. I'm sorry. At 9:25, Ironside gets a puncture. Sun flies around. followed by the Archbishop of Canterbury, who will be talking about 20 minutes longer than he should. He will be followed by Twiggy. There's been a lot of talk. Twiggy's special guest will be Mrs. Mills, and the high spot of the program is when they impersonate the number 10. Then there's late news, the weather, closed down, and cuddly in the couch shade.
I knew a girl who was so thin her husband had to bang his head on the wall and get double vision before he could see her.
What made you say that?
Oh, it's a religious thing. I have to tell a joke once a day or they come and take my wife back.
And now here is Dudley Function with a short talk on Wales.
They're big and squirt water out their heads.
Thank you. The man's a fool.
Meanwhile, in a film producer's office, just beside the casting couch...
Listen, kid, I know the movie business backwards. The minute I saw you in that coffee bar, I knew you had something. That long blonde hair, that baby blue eyes, and that slim figure. What's your name?
Reg Burwash.
Well, it's been a quiet week. Give us a kiss.
I got a card from Tommy Cooper this morning.
What did it say?
3 of spades. Put it on the mantelpiece, it turned into a bunch of flowers.
I didn't know you knew Tommy Cooper.
Know him. Seen everything he ever did. The Plainsman, High Noon, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town.
That's Gary.
All right, Mr. Gary Goes to Town. I saw them all.
Meanwhile, in a South American republic, beside a bunch of bananas.
Senors y senoritas, the revolution is over, and as your new president, the first thing I would like to say is... I resign.
He was a good president. I like him.
Why?
He didn't make no trouble. Hey.
What is he?
You want to buy my sister?
What are you asking?
I'm asking if you want to buy my sister, stupid.
Which sister?
Concepcione.
Forget it.
Ole! Oh, I've got Mexican blood, you know.
There'll be some of it spilled on the carpet if you don't shut up.
And now, here is a little-known recording of the massed choirs of the British Trouser Manufacturers Association singing Zip Up Your Doodah.
You can't do that.
Not without extreme difficulty. In that case, here is a number dedicated to the backbone of British sport, the football supporter.
We're kicking a friend for Fulham. We're punching a policeman for Leeds. We're freighting some bottles for Millwall. And for Manchester we'll do some dirty deeds. We're smashing a shop up for Orient. We're burning a house down for Crewe. And after the football season's over, we'll come round and knock the stuffing out of you. We make them weep in Wolverhampton, and in Sheffield they hang their heads in shame.
But when all is said and done, it is only done in fun, yes.
Soccer's a grand old game. Yes, soccer's a grand old game.
And now over to the interview studio where Tom Filth is talking to the Commissioner of Police, Arthur Conway.
Good evening, Commissioner.
Evening.
Good Lord, what an enormous nose you've got.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, I do beg your pardon. They especially asked me not to mention that. Heaven knew what made me say that. Good grief, it's immense. The increase in crime is immense, if we are to believe all that we read in the newspapers. Speaking as a bogey, a bobby, there's no bogey, honestly, just a slip of the nose. Tongue! Speaking as a bobby, what is your advice to the young potential offender?
Well, basically, I'd tell them to,
Keep their noses clean. Keep out of trouble, or they'll end up before the beak. Magistrate.
Well, Mr. Filth, I'd say you've hit it right on the nose.
Have I? I'll sit further away. I do beg. Oh, I see. But what about us, the general public? If, for example, we're asked to do a nose job. Do a job for a friend and we smell something a bit fishy. Fish something a bit smelly. We don't want to be nosy Parkers. Seems suspicious. The question is Hooter. No, I'm sorry, not Hooter. Yes, Hooter. Who to tell? To shop our friends were a bit like cutting off our noses to spite. No, to no point in putting their noses out. No, well, I know it's the sort of thing that gets right up my My apologies for this interview, Mr. Concord. Conway. Let's just forget it and go to the bar for a quick snifter. Oh, my God. Pointless Pictures present an inferior production starring Lee J. Cobblers and Faye Garamoff in Tarzan and the Fat Lady.
With Billy Bremner as Lady Daphne and Harry Seacombe as Hampstead Garden Suburb.
Adapted from the London telephone directory A to D by a British Railways clerk who belches a lot.
Shot entirely on location in Regent's Park and my window box.
Oh. It's nearly nightfall. We must make camp. Ah, here's the bank of a river. Carruthers, pitch the tents.
Yes, Mrs. Kidney.
Carruthers?
Yes, Mrs. Kidney.
That's not what I meant, dear. Where are we going to sleep now?
Well, madam, we can either build a rude hut out of palm leaves or go over there to the jungle Hilton.
Build a rude hut. I feel sexy.
Very well.
Carruthers, could you ooh and ah a little more quietly?
Yes, madam.
I want to explain the plot. Many years ago, my father, Colonel Kidney of the 14th Brown Pants, saved the life of a witch doctor of the Apulu tribe.
The what tribe, madam?
Apulu.
Please, madam, I am a servant, but I do have my self-respect.
As a token of gratitude, the witch doctor made my father a gift. The solid gold truss of Rumpo the rain god.
As this plot is getting rather long and boring, here is a news flash. Oh, my God. Crystal Palace today signed Vera Lynn. In a statement, Malcolm Allison said, "Maybe it does seem a strange way to spend £500,000, but don't forget I'm God." God later denied this. Mr. Frost is believed to be mad.
Anyway, when Daddy was attacked by this tribe of tall pygmies, he buried the truss out here and only told me of its exact location with his dying breath. It smelt of garlic, I remember.
I should never do that in tight loincloth. Me, Tarzan, you, Mrs. Kidney.
Him, Carruthers, you 2 pages too early.
Me fed up listening to you doing female impersonation.
Oh.
Tarzan help you find golden truss.
How do you know about that?
Me have tranny stuffed down loincloth.
Well, that does answer the next question I was going to ask you.
Must make haste. 10 miles behind, another man seek truss.
Who?
Mad millionaire, Sir Aristotle Footpump, and Puffy Friend.
What do you know about that sort of thing?
Life out here, not all yodeling and peanuts. Already they are making plans to overpower you and steal treasure.
Now, here's the plan, Puffy Friend.
At nightfall, you dress up as a herd of water buffalo and go down to the river to drink. I'll be behind you and we'll clean up. You will then stampede through Mrs. Kidney's camp.
Pardon?
Mrs. Kidney's camp.
We all have our little foibles.
Don't come to me with your hard luck stories. During the diversion, I shall swim across the river with this outboard motor tied to stuck in my... Well, I'll think of something. This time tomorrow, the golden truss will be mine.
Good night, Carruthers.
Good night, Mrs. Kidney.
Good night, Tarzan.
Good night, Mrs. Kidney. Good night, Carruthers.
Good night, Tarzan.
Good night, water buffalo.
Good night, saucebox.
Oh, spit, I've ruined it. How could you tell he wasn't a real water buffalo, Tarzan?
Real buffalo smell of sweat and jungle. This one smell of Chanel No. 5. Besides, how many buffalo you seen with handbag?
It's for my day.
On to the Golden Truss!
You fool. Now we'll have to put Plan 2 into operation.
How does that go?
It starts with me punching you in the mouth for ruining Plan 1.
You can't hit me. I'm a water buffalo.
Stop living in the past. We'll circle round in front of them, dig a 20-foot deep hole. They'll fall in, and we shall take the prize. Right. Ideal. That's about 20 feet deep.
Just one question.
Yes, Spoopy friend.
How do we get out?
Blast. We'll never get out. We're trapped here together forever. Oh, my God. Shh. Someone's coming.
Mrs. Kidney, we are now walking along your father's old spoor.
He's dead. He won't feel it.
True. Somewhere here, we should find the...
So, it's you! Never mind our feud now. How are we getting out of here? Tarzan, any ideas?
Just one.
Huh. What's that he's taking out of his loincloth?
My tranny. Tarzan just realized what time it is.
This is the BBC.
Ta-da, Cheeky.
Bye-bye, Cheeky.
Missed it. Damn. This program was written and performed by John Junkin, Barry Cryer and Tim Brooke Taylor. The music was played by the Dennis King Trio. And the program was produced by Bob Oliver Rogers.